Franklin, please take it away. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Okay, just to confirm, you all see my screen, right? My screen is visible. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. All right, good afternoon or good evening, everyone. I hope you're all doing really very well. I'm really very excited and happy to be here with special and awesome people like you. I just believe so strongly that the time we spend here will be indeed time well spent. So I can imagine that a number of you here are looking to, or you have a number of academic goals you would like to achieve, and I'm hoping that in the course of this presentation, I'll be sharing with you a number of concepts and ideas and strategies that hopefully would help you get to those goals. But first of all, I'd like to say a very big thank you to Dr. Simon and the rest of the outstanding scholars and leadership development team for putting this up, and I really appreciate the work that you do in helping students with success. Really appreciate. And for the students, I would like to say thank you for showing up, and I also want to congratulate you for taking this step to advance your education. Nelson Mandela, who is perhaps one of the greatest world leaders of our time, he once said that education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. And in talking about education, I know it goes beyond attending classes and going for lectures. I know for sure that it also cuts into developing yourself so you can become the best version of yourself, that you're able to make huge and massive difference in the world around you. And all of those, I believe you're already doing. And the very facts that you share is a very strong indication of that. So I'd like to say congratulations to you, and keep up the good work. And I think you also deserve a round of applause. So wherever it is you are, you can just give yourself a round of applause, and you can pat yourself on the back as well. All right, I just want to confirm, Dr. Simon, this is already being recorded, right? Did you record it?
It is indeed. Yes, it is.
Awesome. Okay, yes, moving on. So just as mentioned, my name is Franklin Ezenwa, and as Dr. Simon rightly mentioned, I came in as an international student all the way from Lagos, Nigeria. So for me, the early stage of my time at the university and in Canada was quite tough and challenging for a number of reasons. I know for one, I had to deal with the culture shock, and apart from that, I also had to deal with the difference in the climate. So for those who perhaps are not familiar with the temperature in Nigeria, Lagos, Nigeria, the temperature normally ranges between, say, 24 degrees and 35 degrees. So imagine coming in from a place like that to Canada, where the temperature can drop 30 degrees below zero. So it was just on the opposite end of the spectrum. But I was able to, pull through. I remember I came in the fall and not in the winter. So at least I had some time to get myself all ready for the cold of the winter. So I'm glad that life is filled with down and also up times. And apart from all of those challenging times, I remember also having to deal with a lot of episodes of homesickness. I was thousands and thousands of miles away from my family, my awesome, lovely family, and I was probably about, I think, 18 back then. So I missed them a lot. So if there's any one of you here who perhaps feeling all alone, your family, I just want to encourage you to just brace yourself, because every little thing is going to be all right for sure. So apart from all of those down times and challenging times, I had a number of awesome and amazing times as well at the university, especially academically. I was privileged to have received a number of recognitions and scholarships from different sources, and I was also active on campus. So active on campus as well as off campus, I would say. So on campus, I was part of a program called Connecting for Success, where I served as a student mentor. I don't know how many of you here are currently involved in the program, but it was really very, very, very remarkable. So I basically, worked with students and, helped them get some clarity on their goals, as well as guide them through, achieving these goals that they're set for themselves, and, strategizing and coming up with plans to assist them as well in the goals. I loved it so much that I spent about 3.5 years in that program, just working with students. It was just a delightsome thing for me at the time. And I was also involved in one or two other things around campus as well. So on the 16th of June, 2015, that was one of those hashtag memorable days for me, and hashtag days to remember. Like I'm sure you all have your own hashtag days to remember. So that's me, the cool kid on the gown there. I graduated from the university with a great distinction, and a week after, I started off a career journey as a software developer at IBM Canada. And it's been a remarkable journey so far for me. So I've always had a big passion for student success. And so around the time I graduated from the university, I began looking for a way to give back and to help the sets of students coming in after me. And that was what led to a book project, which was completed just last summer. The book is titled Be a High Achiever, Achieving All-Round Success in College and University. This is indeed a very remarkable and awesome book, not because I'm the one who wrote it, but for a number of reasons. Number one is that the content of this book was squarely directed and guided by a survey done on students, where I tried to learn about their pain points, their struggles, and their aspirations, and also their desires of students. And so this book touches on those as well as just about every single major topic revolving around students' life. So things starting from choices to consider when selecting the right program, exam preparation tips, study tips, goal setting tips, time management tips. And he also goes on to touch on preparing for life after school. So topics such as resume and cover letter writing and job interview preparation tips. And apart from that, it's a accumulation of over a year's worth of research that I've done, as well as interviews that I've carried out on top students and also faculty members from different colleges and universities, mostly concentrated in the Ontario region. And I'm very delighted about the different reviews and testimonials that I've gotten from readers of the book, faculty members, as well as some students. For example, the international student director here at the University of Windsor, Beth Auckland. I remember before the book was launched, she basically reviewed it, and I remember receiving an email from her at some point, and I'll never forget what the email read. It was just mind blowing, and the introductory line was, congratulations, Franklin, on writing what I'll consider to be one of the most well-written and well-researched book on the topic that I've ever come across. Honestly, before I finished reading that statement, I think I almost passed out because I was just blown away, and I'm very, very delighted about that one and so many other reviews I've received from readers of the book. So if you're interested in learning more about it, you can visit the link on the bottom there, allroundachievers.com/books. I'm also going to be sharing some links if anyone is interested. The end. And as they say in fairy tales, and he lived happily ever after. With some princess in the castle. I just don't have any of those pictures here. So I didn't share that story to impress you, but hopefully to impress upon you that you can achieve just about every single thing that you set your heart and your mind on, irrespective of your nationality, your background, skin color, whatever it is. Somebody else or maybe yourself may have thought to be a limitation, because truly, anything is possible to those who believe, and anything is possible to those who are willing to work diligently for what they truly desire. And that's something I'm hoping you would always have in front of you as you continue on this journey here at the university, and even outside of the university. This definitely also applies. Or some affirmation. This is an affirmation that I know your mics are muted, but wherever it is you are, especially when you think about your goals and your dreams, you just want to repeat an affirmation like this: I believe anything is possible. Just I believe anything is possible, and I know you will do awesome and remarkable things. Just a heads up, I have a number of these affirmations, and I know your mics are muted, so wherever it is you are, if you can, just say the affirmations, that would be awesome. I think there's a chat box somewhere, right? Is there a chat box somewhere here? Chat box. I guess not. Okay, moving on.
Can you see it now, Franklin?
Chat box. Let me see.
Meeting chat.
Oh, okay, awesome. Okay. All right. Yeah, I see it now. Okay. Hopefully, I'll be asking the level of success at the university. For the sake of this presentation, I'll be sharing with you 4 of them. And I believe so strongly that in applying this consistently, you would see really very good results. Number 1 is just to know your why. Know your why. So why you're at the university and why you probably selected the course that you have chosen. This is really very, very key, mostly because as humans, I believe that our why is driving force behind every single thing that we do. And as for you as student, it's going to be like, why am I at the university? The purpose for being at the university, and the reason for selecting a program that you have already chosen. This is really very key for a number of reasons. The response to this point, or to the question of the why, would definitely help form the building block of motivation for you, especially when things get tough along the journey. Notice how I use the word when and not if, because you'll agree with me that things usually get tough and rough, but if you know your why, and if you have just strong and compelling reasons, you'll definitely be able to break through just about any single wall of opposition or wall of challenge that may rise up in front of you achieving those goals. And apart from that, the response to the question of why would definitely play a very, very huge role in determining priorities and the people you hang around with. As they say, like, show me your friends and I'll show you your future, and I'll show you your future. And it also determines to a very huge degree the activities you spend most of your time doing. And I just believe so strongly that the more sincerely you're able to answer this question, the more I believe you'll be able to make of your time and your experience here at the university. And that's why this is a very, very, very essential point to deeply consider. So that's point number 1, know your why. Again, this is an affirmation, like, I know why I'm at the university, an affirmation speaking positively into yourself. So moving on, point number 2 is to believe in yourself. I know there are going to be some tough times. There are also going to be some challenging times. There may also be times when you come across people who may look down on you, people who may talk down on you, people who may not even believe in you and in what you know you can do. But in spite of all of those, your ability to still believe in yourself will determine to a very, very, very huge degree your level of success here at the university. I remember sometime in my second year, I had just registered for a major computer science course. And this was a very, very tough and challenging course at the time. And I remember it was very, very tough. The students would actually switch their programs just so they can avoid this course. And at that point, I knew exactly what I wanted. I knew why I had selected the program. And so I didn't have that luxury. So I decided to just stick to the course as it's were. And you know how it is with classes. The first assignments are usually the easiest of them all. But as the assignments keep coming, they tend to increase or rise in the level of difficulty. So I recall the last assignment, as you would imagine, was the most difficult of all the assignments for that course, even much more difficult than some of the third year courses, assignments in the third year courses I had taken at the point. So I remember the professor also made the assignment for that course option, the last assignment optional, which, as if to say, he was daring students to jump on and do the assignment. And I just liked it there, and because especially I wanted to raise my chances of acing that course. So I decided to jump on and work on the assignment. I also worked on it with some members of my study group at the time, and I also found study groups to be very, very, very valuable as well. So we spent hours, we spent days, we spent even weeks trying to work on the assignment, but we were just not making a headway. We were just not able to crack this hard nut of the assignment. So in order for us to continue, we obviously did not want to give up on that quest to solving the problem. So we made some time to meet up with the graduate assistant of the course. And his office hours, I remember, during his office hours, he would stay at the Computer Science Commons, which was in Erie Hall at that time. So I remember on this one fateful day, I and one of the members of my study group, we went on to meet with the graduate assistant to get some pointers from him to solve the assignment problem. So I remember on approaching the room where he was, we noticed there were already a number of students who had come in there for the same purpose. And we found a way to get close to where he was. And I remember my friend, we sat down, my friend was right beside me, and the graduate assistant was in front of us, but more closely in my direction. So here we were, I and my friend, we're just brainstorming, bouncing off ideas one to another. And I just don't know what got into the head of the graduate assistant at that point, but he just turned to me and with a very, very brash voice was like, you're just not going to get this correct. Just forget about it. That was as if to say, dude, you're not smart enough to get this done, so just forget about it and just give up and leave. I felt really very disappointed at that time. It almost felt like someone smacked me in the face with a brick wall, and I just didn't have anything else to say at that point. Only that in my head, I just kept saying to myself, I just believe that I can get this done. I can make this happen, and I believe I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I'm a person of faith, and my faith has a very strong connection to my self-belief, and that's something I cannot trade for anything whatsoever. So I just was very disappointed, walked out of the room, but yet I was much more determined to get that assignment done. And to cut the long story short, I ended up getting the assignment done, and I also ended up acing that course. So what I felt like doing was, just roaming around campus in search of that graduate assistant, and after I found him, just show him the grades and just boo him on the face. But I ended up not doing that because it wasn't just worth it, and it didn't even make sense to me at the time. But the bottom line there was, I did not let what he said to me at that point get into my head. Neither did I let what he said to me cause me to believe or to think less in what I was capable of doing, and also to believe less in myself. But you see, people succeed in life even when others don't believe in them. But hardly can anyone succeed when he or she does not believe in himself or herself. And that's basically the bottom line of this point, that you always want to believe in yourself, believe in what you're capable of doing. And I know definitely that you can and you will do great things. So that's point number 2, believe in yourself. So this is also an affirmation, that you can always say to yourself, I believe in myself and I expect to excel. Moving on, number 3. Number 3. Number 3 is to stretch yourself. Stretch yourself. Don't be afraid to stretch yourself. I remember someone once said that if you don't stretch yourself, that you cannot grow. And if you don't grow, you cannot become your best. And if you don't become your best, you cannot be happy. And if you're not happy, then, what else is there in life to be? And I know for sure, especially at the university, it really pays a lot to take opportunities when they come and try as much as possible to stretch yourself, going out of comfort zone to attempt to do outside of what you are normally comfortable doing. And this applies very much in terms of choices of courses. Obviously, it's really very good to take on your elective courses, and definitely without completing your compulsory courses. Without completing those compulsory courses, there's no way you're able to graduate. But I think it's also worthwhile to explore elective courses, especially those ones that would help you develop very, very important and valuable life skills that will come in handy when you graduate. I remember sometime in my second year as well, I remember I just, put myself in a position where I had to make a very tough decision. But before I share with you what that tough decision was, I would mention that back then, especially my second year at the time, if you had met me, you will have met perhaps the most bashful, shy person. And on top of that, I had a fear for public speaking. And I was the last person you ever wanted to talk to about speaking in public, because honestly, thinking about speaking in public would just cause me to develop sweaty palms and shivers down my spine, and almost even want to make me want to faint. But so that's just how I was if you had met me back then in my second year. And so I was registering for courses that semester, and I had, picked up all of my major computer science courses at the time. And I really, really wanted to be full-time. And in order for me to be full-time, it meant I had to select elective courses. And I remember back then, there was this one elective course that was just screaming in my face, pick me, pick me, pick me. But because to me, it was very, very scary. It was like a no-go area for me. It was outside of my comfort zone. I just almost ignored it at the time. But still, I really wanted to be full-time at that time. And I wanted to be full-time because if I got to be full-time, I was going to be eligible for certain scholarships. And for me, as an international student back then, I really, really treasured the scholarships. They were like my precious, precious, precious scholarships. So I just wanted to do as much as I could, or whatever I could, to get as many scholarships as I wanted. And so I had two options to choose from. Option number one was, Franklin, enroll in this scary elective course. Because if you do, you're going to be full-time, and you're also going to be eligible for your precious scholarships, right? The second option was, Franklin, just ignore this elective course. It's scary anyway. Just stay in your comfort zone. And if you do that, actually, you would not be eligible for scholarship because you're going to be part-time. And like I mentioned, I really, really wanted the scholarship. So I just, I went on for the first option, and I selected the elective course, and I was full-time. And yes, I received those scholarships. I don't know if anyone can guess what that scary course was. If you can type it on the chat box. Can anyone guess what that scary course was? All right. Okay. Yeah, it was a speaking course. It was a speaking course at the time. And like I shared with you earlier, I had a very, very, very serious fear for public speaking. And the course was speech communication to inform. And, back then, the professor of the course was none but Dr. Simon DeToy, actually. I was the professor of the course. And so I remember before enrolling into the course and committing 100% to it, I basically met up with people that I knew cared for me, and I just asked them to just support me and to help me, and I got a lot of support from different people, and so that way I was able to 100% commit to taking that course, and it actually turned out to be really very, very interesting. And I remember it was structured in such a way that the students who enrolled in the course had to deliver 6 different presentations in the course of the semester. And they were also split into a group of about 5 to 6 members. And the idea was for the labs, each group would go on to one of the production studios in the basement of Lambton Tower, where they would, one after the other, each person would get on stage and deliver their presentation. And while doing that, each person would also, while giving a presentation, be video captured, which actually made the whole thing more intimidating. And so I remember on this one fateful day, it was my group's turn. And one after the other, each member got on stage, delivered a presentation, and on like that. And so it was my turn. I was next. And I was very, very, very nervous. I was very, very skittish, and I was shaking and all. There's a very popular metaphor for when somebody is very, very skittish and shaky and nervous. That's the person's knees are knocking against each other. Honestly, I used to think that was just a metaphoric expression and whatnot, until that day I knew it was for real, because literally my knees were were shaking and they were knocking against each other. I was very, very, very nervous on that on that day. And I, still was able to summon the courage, and I got on the stage. And my saving grace there was that right on top of the stage, there was a stand. And so I was able to hide my shaky, wobbly knees behind the stand while I delivered the presentation. And honestly, to this day, I don't know how I was able to how I was able to pull through all of those, but it went on fine. And somewhere in between the presentation, I wanted to calm my nerves down. And so I decided to switch gears in the topic, right? To talk about how good of a dancer I was. Actually, I am, and I'm actually a good dancer. I have some dance videos on YouTube you can check out as well. So I mentioned that I was a very good dancer. I was a very big fan of Michael Jackson back then. And so I remember I showcased one of Michael Jackson's moves back then, and I just did this one. Upon doing that, I felt so much ease and so much calm at the time. And I just couldn't wait for my time to just elapse, and I just walked off the stage. And that was day one of me facing one of my biggest fears. That was day one of me stretching and going out of my comfort zone to attempt to become, like a better version of myself. And honestly, if it weren't for that decision I made to take that course, I don't think, I'll be standing in front of you here to give the presentation. And I don't even think I would have been able to deliver all of the presentations that I have done in the time past. And so I know for sure that it's always going to be very beneficial, like, stepping out of, comfort zone and stretching yourself, because that way you would, grow and you would, be able to maximize your potential. And if you don't believe me, then maybe you may believe what Master Shifu from Kung Fu Panda, this is what he once said, that if you only do what you can do, that you would never be more than you are. So again, it's definitely very, very helpful in whatever way or capacity you feel you're able to apply this, stretching yourself and attempting to do beyond what you already are familiar with, because that way you will stretch and you would grow, and maybe you could become the next dragon legend like Po was in the Kung Fu Panda movie. But definitely doing this would help you to become a better version of yourself and to reach your maximum potential. So that's point number 3, stretch yourself. So again, this is an affirmation, like I stretch myself to become my best. Something for you to also affirm to yourself. Moving on, the last but not the least is do not be afraid to ask for help. So definitely nobody's an island, no one knows it all. And that's part of the reason, that you attend university, because you want to learn, you want to grow, and you want to become a better version of yourself. And definitely something I know for sure helped me a lot was that I wasn't afraid to ask for help, especially in the classroom. I was the kind of person who I basically committed to staying in the first couple of rows in the lecture hall, because I wanted to, I wanted to, raise my hand whenever I had questions in the classroom, ask as many questions as I wanted to. And I didn't really want to bother myself with what, people would think or say about me. I just, always wanted to make the most use of the available resources for me at the time. And as much as possible, I was almost always at professors' office hours of the graduate assistant, the TAs, the GAs, the career advisors, the academic advisors. Always wanted to, ask for help whenever I was in need. And these individuals were just very, very wonderful. And definitely the student's success is their own success. So I made the most use of the resources that were available for me at the university on campus. So that's something definitely that I would strongly recommend for you. And come to think about it as well, if you ask for help, if you ask questions, you're also going to be able to know what you don't know, right? And that would be very, very helpful for you, because that way you're able to make more informed decisions on assessments or tests or midterms or exams or whatnot. And also the converse. Think about the converse. Like, when you don't reach out to ask for help or ask questions, you're likely not going to know what you don't know, and what you don't know can actually end up hurting you. And one thing too that's really very much worth mentioning is never for a second think that you asking for help means that you're weak or that you don't know what you're doing. It's just the opposite, right? So when you ask for help, it's only a sign that you really want to learn, you really want to know, and you really want to grow, and you want to become a better version of yourself. And people who you ask for help will definitely be always very, very happy to help you. So so always feel free and don't be afraid to ask for help, especially when you are in need. And this is also an affirmation. You want to say to yourself that I'm not afraid to ask for help. Okay, so just to recap what those 4 points are that I had mentioned that help me, especially with achieving and maintaining resounding level of success at the university. So point number 1 is know your why. So like why you're here at the university. Number 2 is believe in yourself. Number 3 is stretch yourself. And number 4 is don't be afraid to ask for help. So you see, on this journey you are right now at the university, I know that the end goal for you is, like the graduation day, right? The graduation day, you just cannot wait for yourself to be like, one of these people here, get on stage, receive your diploma. That's what you get when you reach your destination. I'm talking about the graduation, right? So that's what you get. But I want to assure you that what you get by reaching your destination is not anywhere close compared to who you're going to become when you get to your destination. Because come to think about it, so if you stay on track, depending on what year you are right now, so let's say you have about 2 to 3 years to complete and to reach that destination. On getting there on the journey, you'll have become a better version of yourself. You will have become stronger, and you will have become better at problem solving. You will have become better at time management, better at goal setting, more knowledgeable in your field and your area of study. You also have become better at communicating with people, better at leadership for those who have leadership positions. You have also become better at building and developing success habits that would enable you to advance yourself in the world outside of the university. And I just think about this, and I'm really very excited for you and also about your bright future. And I hope that you are also excited about the same thing as well. Although I may not know you personally, but there are a number of things that I know are 100% accurately and completely true about you. Because you see, you and every single one of you here, you've been endowed with seeds of greatness, unique and special gifts and capabilities. You've been engineered for accomplishments, and you've been designed for excellence. You're born to excel and to succeed. And I'm hoping that you're not going to settle for anything less than that. And I believe so strongly in what you're capable of achieving. And I just want to wish you all the very best at school and in every other endeavors of yours. And so thank you so much for your time, and God bless.
Thank you, Franklin, so much for your presentation. It's inspiring and very positive. And I really appreciate that you've taken the time to share your journey with us, not only in terms of, your 4 inspiring points, but also in terms of, the personal elements of your journey, which really help us to relate. We've got a time now for questions. If anybody would like to talk a little further with Franklin, I would encourage you to either put something in the chat, the meeting chat, or go ahead and open up your mic and talk directly with Franklin.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Layla.
Hi, Franklin. So first of all, I just wanted to say thank you for your time. I really enjoyed your presentation. And second of all, I just wanted to mention that it was especially inspiring to me because it seems like we're somewhat on the same path, so that's a good thing. I'm actually right now in the computer science program with software engineering.
Wow.
Yeah. So and I worked for IBM, and so I'm actually looking into data science and things like that. So it's kind of cool to find someone, you know, so close in terms of interests and future goals and aspects.
Right. Wow. So did you say you did was it like an internship or co-op at IBM?
No, so I'm actually just I have a couple like badges and online courses from IBM, but I'm hoping to get some sort of co-op or internship position there. So my question for you is, right now, because everything's online, it seems a bit challenging. I think that one of the key factors in your success, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it was the connections that you made with people and the people you met, and you were very active and involved on campus. Right. So what advice would you have for someone, you know, I'm in first year still, so hopefully things will change soon in terms of the situation that we're in, but just in terms of, you know, getting to know professors and reaching out and things like that. And I've been trying to get involved, you know, OS and all that, but I don't know if maybe you had any tips or tricks, things like that. I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, thank you very much for that. And I think for me, especially on campus, I know I belonged to, especially at the time I was, let's say like in my first year or second year, I was plugged into some of the student society. I know one of them was, you know, I was an international student, right? So I was always plugged into the international students mailing list. So whenever they had events, I tried as much as possible to attend those. And apart from those, the co-op office, they also have events from time to time. So say they invite, because they invite professionals from the real world or the workplace to come speak to them. So I also kept my ears open and my eyes open as well for events like that. So I think they're usually going to be events around campus because right now everything is online. So I can imagine there are likely also going to be some activities online as well. And even if I don't find anything online, or if you don't find anything online, what you're already doing, you know, taking courses online, I must commend you for those. You know, you're actively getting yourself ready. And I would, you know, also connect with people, say like on LinkedIn, for example. That is going to be a very good forum to get in contact with professionals, especially if you're looking to, you know, to network in that area. So LinkedIn is also going to be a very good place to meet with people. And, you know, just I don't know how things are right now in terms of events on campus, right? So maybe everything is moving online, but I can imagine that may be the direction. So I would just, you know, stay plugged in to see what kind of events are happening and try as much as possible to, you know, attend those ones and just meet with people because, you know, you never know who you would become friends with and who you would get connected to. So so that's something that, you know, comes to mind right now. I hope I was able to at least answer your question, Layla.
Yeah, thank you so much. That actually helps a lot. I appreciate your advice, and I really enjoyed your presentation. Thanks again.
Thank you. Thank you. Was there anyone else?
It's hard to say. I've seen a couple of people start to type things in the chat line, but nothing has completed yet. Laura, you were typing for a minute, and I saw Deepashka also was typing for a second. But yeah, don't be shy, folks. If you'd like to just open up your mic and talk with Franklin, please go ahead.
I'll go. Hi, Franklin. Thank you again for your speech, and it was definitely very inspirational. One of the things that I would like to ask is, as a student, how do you find that balance between being successful and, you know, using positive affirmations and finding success, but at the same time navigating with students and even faculty who are sometimes intimidated by that?
So basically balancing school? Is it towards more towards balancing school with, say, fun activities, or just all within the boundaries of classes?
No, I'm thinking more in the sense that there are students on campus that are very brilliant, very bright, and they are almost come across as, when they are successful, as they intimidate other students, or they intimidate, and not intentionally, but if they are at that level, it becomes a problem. So if you have any ideas of how to navigate that, because there's some people would advise you to dumb yourself down, or to not come across as being so positive, and that kind of thing. So how do you navigate that, if you have any ideas?
Wow, that's a very, very, very good point, I must say. So I think the first place to start with is this would tie very much with the second point I made about, so I'm talking about, if you are the person who is, if you are the person on the other side, right? So maybe you have like someone who is really very good, and the person seems intimidating to you. So I'll start by addressing, the person on the other side, right? So I think first of all, it all goes back to, believing in yourself, right? One thing I believe so strongly is that every single person is brilliant. Every single person is talented, right? So the fact that somebody else may be performing better than you doesn't mean the person is, naturally more talented than you. I just feel that it's more about, okay, the person may be doing something that maybe you don't know, or the person may know something that you don't know. But the moment you begin to learn, or you begin to find out what those things are, then I believe you can perform higher than the person's level. So I think the first thing is coming to understand that no one is better than you per se. That you're awesome, you're great, you're smart, you're intelligent, and don't ever feel inferior. You're unique. I think that was like a very, very good starting place. Don't ever feel inferior to anybody, because you're not. You're intelligent. Everybody's intelligent. Everyone is smart. It's just a matter of finding the right things to do, asking the right questions, and asking for help when you're in need. And definitely, if you play by the right cards, you would see yourself succeed, and you see yourself excel, even beyond the imagination of other people, and even beyond those people who may still intimidating you. So that's one very, very key thing that I believe so much with my heart. And yeah, and just to add to that as well, the fourth point too would definitely play a role, right? Sometimes people in that category, maybe like you mentioned, they are not doing it intentionally, right? So it may just be a matter of like perception. But I noticed that if you try to say like befriend people like that, and learn from them, you never can tell, right? And you may be surprised that, oh, they're not as maybe awful as you thought. And that way you also learn from them, and you learn, okay, what they're doing that may be different than what you're doing. And then once you do that, you definitely see positive results as well. So I think those are like, two points that they kind of like come to mind right now. And I hope that answers the question. But then for the person on the other side, I feel so the person who is intimidating intimidating others, maybe not doing it intentional. I think it's also going to be a matter of self-awareness, right? Sometimes people exude certain aura or certain behavior unconsciously, but it just takes, say, one or two persons who are maybe close to them to just mention it to them or bring it to their attention, and I can imagine they're going to be more conscious of what they put out there. So I think it boils down a lot to self-awareness, and definitely I know it's not the proper thing to make someone feel inferior, because indeed nobody's inferior to you, and it shouldn't be that way. So I think it's just going to be a matter of being more aware of oneself and what someone is putting out there, especially so it doesn't rub off on people in a negative way. And I think that's a very, very quick way to to lose friends or people around you, right? Because nobody wants to be around somebody who, turns people down or makes people feel inferior, right? So I think it's just, a matter of self-awareness, and hopefully the person also cares about the other people as well. So I hope I was able to
Thank you.
answer the question. Did I help?
I was looking at it more from the top down than the bottom up, but yeah, I see what you're saying, and it is a matter of perception. I think in university, because it's all about achieving at a very high standard, people who are very enthusiastic and they want to do well and they think that this is their proving ground, that there is that drive to achieve at a certain level. And as I said, I think in some cases people are intimidated by that because they see such a difference maybe. But in any case, thank you so much for your thoughts on it.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Hi, my
Hi,
name is
Deepak.
Deepashika. I have one
Sorry,
question.
what's the name?
My name is Deepashika. Sorry if my mic isn't
Okay.
working the greatest.
Yeah, it's
So
all good.
thank you so much for your presentation. I really related to your experiences, especially about being shy. And one thing in particular that really resonated with me, what you said, is how you have to kind of set your intentions and know your why. But as a young person, I kind of feel like my reasons right now are not the greatest, though they're partly valid, right? So my question is whether or not you would mind sharing any further advice about how to go finding your why in life, or just in general, if you wouldn't mind.
Wow, that's a very, very powerful question, and I appreciate you asking the question. So starting from, let me begin. Let me use myself as an example and my university journey. I know that even before I came to Canada, I knew what I was coming in for. I knew I was coming in for, for education, and after that, I was going to, find the next thing, which was maybe starting up a career. And I wanted to do all of those because not only because I wanted to become a better version of myself, but also because I wanted to make my family proud, right? And so I think for me, those are like, two main reasons why I, decided to come over to Canada. And those are my driving force while I was at the university. And after I was done with, the university, things kind of changed a bit. I was, back in the workplace, and my why still basically remained the same. Apart from my why basically still remained the same. I wanted to become a better version of myself. I wanted to maximize my potentials, and I wanted to also make huge impacts and in the community around me as well. And definitely I also wanted to please my family and make my family proud. So I think it was basically all the same, all true. And I still have some changes in, say, like in the direction I'm going, but I still have, like, my entire purpose, my entire life's purpose in mind. And that's why, I do what I'm doing. And part of the driving force for the purpose is also why I'm here as well. And like I mentioned in the presentation, that I also love, impacting the lives of people, especially students. Always want to see them excel and succeed. Part of the reason I wrote the book as well. So all of those tie down to my purpose, I would say. And from time to time, the plan may change, but I feel that the purpose still remains the same. And it's usually just a matter of, reflecting and sitting and thinking back, like, what do I really want to do with my life, and what legacy do I want to leave behind? And definitely it applies even at the university, asking yourself, what do you want to be remembered for when you're no longer at the university, and what legacy do you want to leave behind at the university? And this would also apply even once you're done from the university and in life in general, right? Because everyone is going to have a story of their life, and what would you like that story to be? I think that's going to be a very good starting point when you think about your purpose, right, at the university and in life in general. Did I help?
Yeah, it did. Thank you so much for sharing and for your advice.
You're very much welcome. Anyone else?
Hey, Franklin.
Hello.
Thanks for the presentation. It was very inspirational. Very great public speaker. My question is, what career or school mistake has given you the biggest lesson?
Sorry, can I get the name, please?
My name is Josh.
Josh. Hey, Josh.
Hey, Franklin.
Wow, that's a very, very, very interesting and important question. So basically, mistakes that I made, right, that I learned the most lessons from. That's a question, right? Josh?
Yes, sir.
Okay, awesome. I think, let me see, there are probably going to be a number of them, but one, if I were to, change the clock back at my time at the university, I think one of the things that I wish I did more of was to have fun more. I think that's one thing, because most of the time I was just studying. I was studying. I think I did a lot of, I studied a lot, my goodness. When other people were, having fun, going to just chill out, I was just always studying. Man, I feel that's one thing I wish I had done more of. In life, there definitely has to be, like a balance, fun and, recreation, right? And there's definitely a lot of benefits that accrue to having, recreational time. It helps even with the mental health and even with your health in general, right? So that's one thing I wish I had, done more of. And I know for sure if I had, if I had done a lot more recreation, I would definitely have connected with more people, and who knows where the relationship will have ended up in. So that was one thing, and the other thing too is I think I kept saying this to myself, that I wish I had also learned more about like business opportunities, as opposed to just thinking about career. I wish I had done some more things with business, because after I graduated, I started falling in love with certain kind of businesses, and I thought to myself, oh, if I had spent more time learning about businesses, I think now I would be able to get started much easier. Although I took one business course and that was just it, but I wish I learned more about business, because right now I'm falling in love with businesses, especially outside of my my job and career. So those are like two things that come to my mind, and that I wish I had done differently.
Great. I agree. There's an important balance between working hard and having fun. To follow up with that, what are you currently doing for fun / current hobbies?
Yeah, so for fun, I watch movies and I hang out with friends. I was just talking to Dr. Simon. I moved to Ottawa recently, and so I basically went on a tour with a friend of mine, and we went to go check out. Actually, it was a boat cruise. It was awesome, very, very, very beautiful. Took a boat cruise around Rideau Canal and Ottawa, the Ottawa River as well. So hanging out with friends and also playing games, and I love playing games. Whenever I visit a friend of mine who stays very close by, we, at this place, I get to play like, PS4. I'm actually thinking about getting a console for myself really very soon. And yeah, I also have a bunch of other fun activities that I plan to do as well. Skating, I also learned to swim. I actually plan to start sometime this month. And also learn to ski in preparation for what's going to be happening in the winter. So yeah, so those are things that I definitely had to put in place, and I still put myself in check. I have a mentor who also is helping me to ensure that I'm not just only working, that I have time to recreate and to sleep more as well.
Yeah, it sounds great. Sounds like you have a lot of hobbies, which I think are very important now with the work from home trend, right?
Exactly.
So I
Exactly.
appreciate your insight, and that's all I have. Thanks.
Awesome. Awesome. Oh, I think I actually forgot to say one thing. I love to exercise as well. Weightlifting and jogging. I love it so much. I think that's like my first hobby. Yeah. All right.
Well, we've come to the end of our hour, and I just really am grateful to you, Franklin, for taking the time to inspire us all with your message and reflect on your time while you were here at the University of Windsor. And to those of you in the audience, I really want to thank you as well for taking this hour to be with us and to share your time with Franklin. This has been a great experience. If any of you have any further questions that you'd like to follow up with Franklin, he's given us all kinds of contact information there
It's connected
through every digital platform that I'm aware of in existence. So thanks for your generosity, Franklin. I really do appreciate it. We have recorded this presentation, and so if you'd like to share it in future, I think that will be possible. And so thanks so much. And all of you, I wish you the best.
Just one very quick thing, please, Dr. Simon.
Of course.
Yeah. Okay. So just to help out with the presentation, right? I just have a number of questions that, it's kind of like a follow-up to the points that I had raised. So I'm just going to be posting them in the chat. So if you have some time, you can just, go through them. And I'm sure definitely that it will help you to just think back on each of the points that I had shared, and you have some practical strategies to implement them as well. So I'll be sharing this in the chat. So if you have some time, you can, answer the question for yourself. And yes, please feel free to reach out to me on any of those social media platforms. I'll be more than happy to connect with you. And again, thank you so much for your time. I do appreciate it.
Well done, Franklin.
Okay, bye.
Take
Have a
care.
nice one. Yeah, bye.
Bye-bye.